Hey guys, it is September the 16th, 2024, and I hope everybody had a great weekend this past weekend. I hope everybody's morning is starting off well today too. I think it's about 11 o'clock a.m. right now, and I was hoping to have today's video up by 11, but it wasn't going to happen today. And I'm sorry if there's any wind that you guys are hearing in the background. It's a windy day out here today. I don't like filming in the house, you guys know that, so hope it doesn't sound too bad. But last night, I have an insulin pump now, and 15 minutes before I eat any meal, I have to input the carbs into there's like a little device. It's a phone. It's an Android phone, like a real cheap Android phone that comes with your insulin pump. And it's called the bolus, but you tap on it, and then it gives you like a calculation thing, and basically all you have to do is just enter in your carb count for whatever meal you're about to eat. And last night I entered the carbs in, and you hit another button and it basically extracts your blood sugar from your CGM, or your constant glucose monitor, and it pulls that in there, and then you just hit confirm, and then all of a sudden it starts to give you your insulin. Well, last night, I figured I'm going to eat this much food. I entered in the carbs for it, and started eating my dinner after 15-20 minutes had gone by, and I got a stomach ache while I was trying to eat my dinner, so I had to stop. And I just set my dinner off to the side, and went and laid down. And I was hoping that I was gonna, the stomach ache was gonna go away, and then I was gonna get back up and eat some more food. But that didn't happen. I ended up falling asleep when I laid down last night, and woke up. I think the first time I woke up was like 11 o'clock, and my wife was like, "Hey, your thing's going off." And there's an alarm on my phone when it lets me know when my blood sugar gets really low, and it kept going off. Well, that happened 11 o'clock last night, I think 1, 3 a.m., and like 5 a.m. last night. It kept going off, and I would get up and eat like a glucose tablet and then go back to sleep. And it just wasn't enough to keep my blood sugar up. So my blood sugar would, go back up enough to, not trigger the alarm, and then it would drop back down again after a while. And it just kept happening. So that was keeping me up all night last night. And I am tired today. Like I said, I'm usually up at like 5, 6 a.m. every single day, and this morning, that was not the case. As a matter of fact, my kids came in there and woke me up when they went to leave to go to school, and I woke up about an hour later and was like, wow, that's just not me. And I have that like weird, I don't know if you guys are like me, but if I oversleep, I have this like weird, I don't know, I feel like groggy all day long, and I'm like kind of in this weird like dream state when I oversleep like that. I don't know why that is and why I get like that, but if I sleep too much, like I said, I just feel like I'm in a dream all day long, and I just feel like that right now. Everything's kind of surreal for some reason. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is how to quit drinking, and I'm just gonna make a quick video today and just talk about some ideas on ways to stop drinking. Yesterday when I was in the live video, one of the subscribers was asking me some questions about what they could do to quit, and I told him in the live, if I was to talk about that in the live video, it would have taken most of the live up, and I didn't want to freeze up the whole live and not allow other people to be able to ask me anything. So I said, I'm just going to go ahead and do a video today for you, so just hang tight and I'll have the video up today. And for the gentleman that I said I was gonna have this video up early this morning, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm moving slow this morning, and I'm really, really tired. But hopefully this video will be up before noon today. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. I did at the beginning of today's video, I was walking down here to film, and last night my kids and I put out those Halloween decorations that we made with those old pallets last year. And I just filmed them. I know I put some pictures of them up on my Instagram, but I went ahead right before I started filming today and just kind of took a little bit of video, and I was just showing you guys some of the stuff that we made. So And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about today. So I'll just go ahead and talk about this. One of the things that I think is like, and I talk about this all the time, and it's not just me who talks about this. If you watch any of the other sober YouTubers, they're all going to be talking about the same thing, and that's finding something to occupy your time. You've got to find something to occupy your time. Because if you don't keep your mind busy, you're just going to keep thinking about alcohol or whatever the substance is. It's just going to keep popping up in your head. And if you're bored, you're going to want to drink or use, because that's what we do. We fill our time with drinking or using, especially when we're bored. So we have to find something to fill that gap, to fill that void. And when you do find something that really strikes your interest, and I know it's not easy to find those things, hopefully you already have something that you enjoy to do. I think the gentleman that I was talking to yesterday, their handle was something to do with fishing. So I would imagine that gentleman likes to fish. And now I probably would imagine too that if you're currently a drinker and one of your hobbies is fishing, you're probably drinking and fishing and doing both. And that's one of those things where you start to run into like bumps in the road, because you associate these certain activities with alcohol. I know I had all kinds of activities I used to associate with alcohol. I mean, my whole life was wrapped around drinking, so everything I did involved alcohol. So when I quit, I had to find all new things to do. I couldn't do any of those old things that I used to do anymore, because I drank when I did them. And when I went to try to do those types of things again, I started thinking about drinking when I would do them. So it was just one of those things I just can't do. And there's a lot of things that I just, one, physically can't do, but there's a lot of things too that I just don't do anymore, because, when I did those types of things, I really drank when I did them. And I just don't want to like trigger those thoughts again. But once again, finding whatever that is for you that fills your time. One of the things I really enjoy doing is making artwork and taking trash and turning it into stuff. I've talked about this many times on here, but I really, really enjoy taking junk and turning it into something really neat. Anytime I see like tires on the side of the road, my wife and I will stop and get them, and I turn them into things. All the seats that I'm sitting on at this table are made from recycled tires, and all I did was I basically bolted them together. I drilled holes in them and put bolts through them, and then screwed in pieces of old plywood on top and then painted it. And these are just permanent seats that sit out here. The table is sitting on old mud tires that were bolted together, and then I screwed in an old spool. The top of a cable spool is bolted to this table, and then I painted it. And it was just a project that I decided to take on one day, and it filled up a bunch of my time. And I really, when I get involved in stuff like that, man, I get so involved in it. I mean, I dive deep into it. My mind is so focused when I get involved in something that I really enjoy doing. And the last thing I'm thinking about is drinking. It just doesn't even I don't even think about it. When I'm really deeply involved in something and it's really got my attention, that's all I'm thinking about. And the one thing that's really neat about it too is when you find something that you really enjoy to do, it takes up all of your thoughts. I've talked about this before, but it's like being a kid again. It really is. You get those like childlike imagination. You're laying in the bed at night thinking about what the next thing that you're going to do. I know for me, at least, that's how I get. If I'm doing a project with my kids and we're like making something, let's say like that skeleton that I made, I'll lay in the bed at night and just think about all these great ideas and things that we could do, and new art projects that we could do, and I'm writing down notes, and it just really just it just opens my imagination, and I'm not kidding about that, because for so long my imagination was dulled by the alcohol. I just didn't have much of a imagination at all. All I did was get drunk, and all I thought about was drinking. Just every thought that I had during the day was basically, where's my next bottle? When's my next drink? When can I really start to get drunk? When am I going to get off work to be able to drink? I mean, every thought that I had was involved with alcohol. And, after I stopped drinking and started finding things to occupy my time, it really just captivates me. And I think it's such a good thing to do, is to find a hobby, find something to fill that gap. I think it's one of the most important things that we can do. Second thing, is really digging deep down inside and figuring out why you're drinking or using. Whatever it is. Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you bored? What's the reason that you're drinking? Are you in a relationship that you're not happy with and you just don't know how to get out of it and you're just drinking because of that? Are you unhappy with your job and you're drinking because of that? Or is it all of the above? Are you drinking because you're anxious, depressed, you hate your job? I mean, all these things. And, it's one of those things, you just can't go and just quit your job tomorrow because you still have to pay the bills. So that's one of those things. Yeah, you might not enjoy it right now, but, that might be a long-term goal to start looking for new employment. If you're in a bad relationship, maybe thinking about changing that. But figuring out what the reason is that we're drinking, no matter what it is. If you were like me, I drank for every reason under the sun. If I was happy, I drank. Sad, I drank. If I was, having a bad day, I drank. If I was having a good day, I drank. I used every single excuse I could to drink. So, it was kind of difficult for me. But I did start to identify the reasons that I drank. And, once I started to work on those things and those reasons, it really made quitting easier. Now, I had already went through a medical detox, but I was still dealing with being new to sobriety and trying to live my life being new to sobriety. I just got thrown into it. It's not something that I went looking for. I wasn't trying to get sober. Although I had tried many times to get sober and was never successful, like I said, I just kind of got thrown into it. I got sick, went through a medical detox in the hospital, and then was told that if I ever drank again, that pretty much would be it. So, I was kind of left between a rock and a hard place with no real decision to make. It was just kind of like, if I drink, this happens. If I don't drink, I might live for a little bit longer. And that's what I chose. And I just haven't looked back. Now, do I think about it? All the time. I'll be the first to admit that. I think about drinking a lot, but I just don't indulge. But once again, finding out that reason why we are drinking, looking deep down inside and trying to figure that out, because we're drinking for a reason. There's a reason that we're trying to numb ourselves. And when we identify that, like I said, we can start to work on that problem. And, it doesn't have to be something that we figure out right away. We don't have to, like I said, go and quit our job if that's what we think it is that we're drinking because of. But it could be something that we start working towards. Maybe start looking at putting our application out there and looking for a new job. And but at the same time, we have to remove that substance because, I've talked about this. Just quitting a job and going to a new job is not going to solve your problems. I thought for the longest time that quitting my job was going to solve all my problems, and it didn't. Running away from your problems doesn't solve them. You have to address them head on, figure out what they are, and address it. Because I'm living proof. I tried running away from my job. I tried running away from my old home. I thought moving out here into the country would solve my problems. Well, that didn't work. I tried quitting my job. That didn't work. It took me hitting rock bottom and almost losing my life before I could finally get my head together and stop. And I don't want other people to have to go through that. And that's why I talk about this every single day. Another thing too, and this is more or less like something that you can do to help fill that gap. And my list is kind of all over the place today. I was really rushing to get this together this morning. I talk about this all the time. It's carbonated sodas, especially if you're a beer drinker. You buy those carbonated soda waters, like the bubbly or whatever, and now like every single grocery store chain has their own brand of them, and they all taste about the same, but they're dirt cheap. They're like, $2 for a 12-pack of them. Keeping those on ice in a cooler with you all the time wherever you go, and if you start to get that craving, cracking one of those and slamming it, it just helps out tremendously. I just can't say enough about those. I really think that they help out a lot. You're not drinking any calories. You're just drinking water, and you're getting that tingle in the back of your throat, like when you were drinking alcohol. I just think it really does help a lot. Another thing as well too, and there's a lot of people out there who use these types of products. I've never had any luck with them, but it might work for you. But like CBD. There's a lot of people who swear by that stuff. I've tried it. It didn't do anything for me. That's not to say that it might not work for you. But it's not intoxicating. It does help to relieve stress. It also gets rid of inflammation. There's a lot of claims that CBD can do for you. I think that to get to the anti-anxiolytic properties of the CBD, you have to be up in like the higher ranges. Most CBD gummies are like 50 milligrams, 25 milligrams, or somewhere around that area. But I think that you have to start getting up into like the 400, 600 milligram area before it really starts having anti-anxiolytic effects. But I'm not sure. I'm not big on that. That's something you would have to do your own homework on. Do a simple Google search. You could figure it out. But people swear by them. It might be able to help take that edge off just a little bit. There's things like valerian root. People swear by that as well. I've used valerian root, and it knocks me out. It makes me super tired. It's another one of those things I'm just not a fan of. But people swear by it, and they say it's kind of like nature's Valium. I think that Valium was actually named after valerian, but people swear by it. Like I said, I've tried it. I just don't really care for it that much. It just really, it's a pretty powerful herb, and it might help you. I do think, though, and once again, do your own homework. I'm not a doctor. I'm not affiliated with any healthcare professionals. I'm just a guy just talking about things that I've done. So don't take any of this as medical advice. I'm just telling you things that, have worked for others and have worked for me. But I think that in really high levels, that valerian can be toxic to the liver at a certain point. But do your own homework and do your own research before you take anything, which you should do with any pharmaceutical or anything. Do your due diligence and be your own advocate for your own health and check into what you're taking. But I think valerian is one of those things. It's a pretty powerful sedative, and if you're having a hard time getting to sleep at night, which is one of the things that comes along with quitting, RLS, restless leg syndrome, and trying to get to sleep are like two of the biggest things that you're going to have to deal with, and it's pretty tough. And I was just talking to somebody in the comments the other day, and they were asking, how long did it take before you were able to get, start getting good sleep? And I said, it took me about 1.5 years before I was able to sleep again. Now, I was dealing with a lot of health problems during that period of time. I was in a lot of pain, and the pain was keeping me up at night. I was having a really hard time sleeping because of the ascites. It was just hard to get comfortable. I was dealing with a lot of health problems, and I was having surgery after surgery. I was in recovery all the time. So did that play a huge role in it? I'm sure it did. But also, I just quit drinking, and I used to drink until I would pass out. And once you remove that, it can be kind of difficult. But it's one of those things, are you willing to fight for your life? Do you want to live? Do you want to live a better life? Are you tired of the life that you're living right now? I'm sure you are. And if you're tired of living in that way, anything that's worth anything in this world takes hard work. And there's going to be some difficult moments. There's going to be some times where you're going to want to give in. It's probably going to be more of wanting to give in than the latter. But you got to stick in there. You got to hang in. You got to fight through those urges, those cravings, the feeling of being uncomfortable. I know it's tough, but it doesn't last forever. Those feelings will go away, and you will start to feel better eventually. And after you get over that mountain, that feeling that you're going to have, because in the very beginning of sobriety, there is a point where it's I can't remember what they call it. but there's like this moment of you just feel so great. I think it's called like the pink cloud effect or something like that, but it's like you feel so good. It's crazy, and that's when a lot of people will relapse, because they start feeling so good after they get through those first initial days of the withdrawals, and they get on the other side of it. You start to actually feel great, and you start to have more energy. You're thinking clearer. You don't wake up in the morning hungover anymore. You're just kind of on top of the world. And, people start getting that really good feeling, and they're like, well, I'm cured now. And, they go back to drinking again. And I think it's one of the things, too. You got to remember what you're doing this for. You're doing this for yourself. And, that's another thing, too, is doing this for you and not for anybody else. You have to say, I want to change my life, and I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for my kids. I'm not doing this for my wife. I'm not doing this for my mom, my dad. I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm doing this for me, because I want to change, because I'm tired of living this way. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when we're doing it for other people, we can often get resentment. I know firsthand. I would always tell my wife, I'm going to quit for you. And then when I was going through the withdrawal and, being anxious and just feeling uncomfortable, I would blame her. You're the one making me feel this way. I'm doing this for you, and now I feel like crap. So, I would get angry at her. Instead of going, I want to do this for me. I know I'm the one that brought myself to this place. I'm the one that's got to get myself out of it. And I don't have anybody to be upset with but myself. And at the end of the day, it's not our fault. We didn't ask to be in this position. But at the end of the day, we have to do it for ourselves. Because like I said, if we start trying to do it for other people, we're going to have resentment. We're going to get angry at them when we're feeling horrible. We have to realize that we're doing this for us, that we want to change our life. The thing is, it's like you've lost your best friend. It really is. If you've been drinking for a long period of time, alcohol is it's your best friend. You take it with you everywhere you go. Everything you do has alcohol involved in it, or whatever the substance is. And it's like going through a big breakup. And I'm sure that most people out there have been through a major breakup at some point in their life. They're not easy to deal with. They're tough. It hurts. We feel lost. We don't know what to do anymore. There's a big gap. There's a big hole in our chest. We're lost for a little while. It's the same thing. But you guys know, with time, especially in a breakup, things start to get better over time. Those feelings start to dissipate. We don't hurt so bad, and we start to move on with our life. It's the same thing with alcohol. Just remember, it's like breaking up with your losing your best friend, breaking up with a girlfriend or boyfriend or something like that. Give it some time. It will get better. I think that's one of the biggest things about this is time. With time, everything gets better, and it's the exact same thing with this as well. Another thing, too, is learning how to deal with our emotions. That's been one of the hardest things for me since I've quit. I still fight dealing with my emotions. When I get angry, it's hard to handle those emotions. And when I used to get angry, I would drink. Now I just go for a walk, or I'll leave for a little bit, just get in my car and just go for a little drive, or I'll walk off into the woods and just hang out for a little while until I cool off. Because like I said, back in the day, anytime I'd get angry, I'd just start slamming alcohol. And, I would numb myself. And it's not like when I would drink, when I was angry, like things got better. As a matter of fact, I just got angrier. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but things didn't get better for me. I would just get angrier and then start losing my mind. And, but dealing with our emotions when we're sad, when we're angry, whatever it is, learning how to sit in those emotions and deal with it, that can be really tough. And we have to know how to do it. It's just not easy. But we have to sit in those emotions and not explode, and understand why we're feeling the way that we are. Not worrying about, not sitting around and counting every single day and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of tough in the beginning, and you just got to take it day by day. Don't start thinking about the big picture. I need to get to 30 days. I need to get to 90 days, whatever it is. This is a day by day thing. It's one of those things. We live our life day by day. So why don't we take our addiction the same way? Our addiction is exactly the same. We have to take it day by day. We're not living in the past. We're not living in the future. We're living right now. So right now, I'm not going to drink right now. Don't start thinking about, I've said this so many times, but don't start thinking about that wedding that's coming up, or that party that for your brother, his birthday party that's coming up, or whatever it may be, where there's going to be people drinking. And you're like, well, what am I going to do? I need to go to this event, and I'm it's going to be so hard not to drink. Maybe don't go to that event. There's things that you're probably going to have to put off for a little while. You have to think about it that way, and don't think about the big picture. Just think about today. And, a lot of people talk about they do it not only day by day, but they do it hour by hour, or sometimes minute by minute. I'm not going to drink for the next 15 minutes and then, repeat. I'm not going to drink for the next 15 minutes. And then when you start getting more comfortable, maybe I'm not going to drink for the next half hour. And then you start doing, well, I'm not going to drink for the next hour. So it's 12 o'clock, I'm not going to drink till 1. And then you do it from 1 to 2. And you keep doing it like that. And then eventually you get to the point where I'm just not going to drink for the day. You go to bed, wake up, and do it again. Another thing as well, too, is, you make it all the way through the day. Don't stop at that store that you always stopped at to get whatever, your alcohol choice was. If you used to stop at a gas station on your way home every day and pick up a case of beer and get some gas and a pack of cigarettes, don't go there anymore. Find a new gas station, pump your gas at the pump, use your card, and leave. Don't go in there. It's so tempting. They've got those little beer coolers all lit up, and they're all in the back. There's just signs everywhere. I mean, there's so much paraphernalia in there, trying to suggest for you to buy alcohol. Just stay out of those stores for a little bit. If you have to go to the grocery store, stay away from the alcohol aisle. It's all in bright lights. There's, this flashy artwork all over the beer boxes and wine bottles and all that stuff. Just stay away from that stuff. If there's something that you need that's down that aisle, just, maybe go to another store, or, just don't get it for that time. Eventually you will be able to walk down that aisle. Just in the very beginning, you just want to stay away from it for a little bit. I think another good thing that we can do too is keeping a journal while we're going through, the first week or so, or just keeping a journal in general. But especially in the beginning, start writing down when you start getting those cravings. What's happening? Are you starting to get anxious? And that's when you start to think about drinking. Keep a little notepad on you. It doesn't need to be a big one. You can go buy one of those little teeny notepads. It could be a piece of paper that you just fold up and keep in your pocket, or a notepad on your phone. But when you start to get those feelings, write it down. That way you can go back and look at it later on and remember. And that way you might be able to do a better job of avoiding whatever that is. Like I said, are you starting to feel anxious, and then all of a sudden that triggers the thought of alcohol? Are you driving down the road and you start to get that anxious feeling, and then you start thinking about drinking? Write that down. Social situations, is that what it is that makes you want to drink? Or when you go to work, or when you get off of work, is that what it is? Write all this stuff down. That way you can start keeping track of it, and you start to notice patterns and go, okay, I really start thinking about alcohol every day when I get off of work. So what can I do to make those thoughts go away? There's all kinds of action plans that you could take, but understanding exactly what it is, what those triggers are, I think is a big deal, and we need to know exactly what it is. And another thing too is that if you do in fact relapse, don't beat yourself up. Just pick yourself up and try again. Relapsing is part of the journey. You just got to hang in there. it happens, and it happens to all of us. Some of us, there's a couple of us maybe not, but for the most part, we've all relapsed, and you just have to accept it. It's not something that you want to do, but it happens. And don't go, man, I just had 7 days and I went that far and then I relapsed. Well, now here I am, so I'm just going to go back to drinking again. No, if you messed up, you relapsed, go, okay, you're going to wake up in the morning and you're probably going to feel like garbage. Don't get the hair of the dog. Deal with it. Deal with that hangover. Get yourself back. Wake up the next day and just start over again. I know it's not easy to do, but just pick yourself back up and just keep hanging in there. It's it eventually will get easier. Like I said, this all just takes time. All right, and I got a couple more things here that I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to get off of here for today that way. And there's so many more things I could talk about, but I'm just going to finish off with these last couple things. Now, I've basically talked about, the things that I think are pretty much the most important parts of this, but there's probably 50 more things I could talk about. I just want to keep this video as short as possible today, and I'm almost at 30 minutes already, and I want to get this video up. But the next thing I think is very important is to get a support system, whatever that looks like to you. Do you have family that you could get to help you out with this? If you do, or friends, or whatever it is. And I get it. Not everybody can get a support system. It's just the way their life's worked out, and I understand that. But if you can get yourself a support system, let your family know. Maybe your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, just somebody, or a few people that you can get to help you out when you really start to struggle, that you can give a call. People that can maybe, if you don't want to leave your house for that day, might be able to bring you some food or something, because sometimes I think that's the best thing for us to do. And that's one of the things I was going to talk about. And since I'm on it, I'll just go and talk about it, is stay home for a while. Don't go anywhere. I know it's boring and you don't want to be at home, but there are so many triggers out there in the world. And not just triggers, just physical triggers like, billboard signs or going to the store and all that kind of stuff. But there's just all kinds of stuff, like people might be riding your tail in traffic, or somebody, you're going to make a left turn onto a road and somebody's slowing down and they didn't use their turn signal, and it just irks the crap out of you. Because I know it irks me when people don't use their turn signal. It's like, come on. But if those little things are the type of things that get you upset or whatever, we want to avoid those just for a little bit, because you're really going to be on edge for a little bit, especially for like the first few days. You're going to be irritable. The little teeny things are really going to tick you off. And I think just staying home is the best way to go through that, especially in the beginning. If you start feeling super uncomfortable, maybe turn on a movie or something like that to occupy your time, or get into a hot bath. Drink yourself a nice cup of herbal tea or a cup of coffee. There's just lots of distractions that we can use at our home, and I don't need to name them all off. You can play video games or something like that, but maybe, like I said, find a little hobby to do or something just to occupy your time. We just have to make it throughout the day. All we have to do is make it through the day. And if you can get all the way to about 8 o'clock at night, or 7 o'clock, whatever time you eat dinner, if you can get it to dinner time, eat your dinner and just go lay down after that, you've made it through the day. And it might be a little tough in the beginning to get some sleep, but taking a nice hot Epsom salt bath right before bed, there's science behind raising your body temperature right before you lay down that actually does help you get to sleep. I talked about this, drinking chamomile tea and passion flower tea, or combining the two of those together can really knock you out. I can't say enough about chamomile tea. That stuff is like magic. It really knocks me out. I don't like melatonin because I always end up with kind of like a groggy hangover the next day if I've taken it. But chamomile, I don't feel anything the next day. It just knocks me out. I go to sleep and I sleep throughout the night on it. And I don't use it often. The only time I ever use chamomile tea is when I have a surgery the next day, because I'm so anxious about the surgery in the morning, because I always have mine first thing in the morning. I'm like one of the first patients whenever I set mine up. I'm just restless. I can't go to sleep. I'm scared. I'm nervous. So I'll drink chamomile tea on those nights. The rest of the time, unless I'm really struggling, but for the most part, I just fall asleep, because I wear myself out during the day. Another thing too is AA meetings, or online AA meetings, or if there's something out there like AA, I don't know about it, but I'm sure there's some online stuff. You're hanging out in the comment section on these videos. You can talk to people watching these videos, or other YouTubers talking about sobriety. There's a lot of really good points. Everybody's got good points in their videos, and there might just be something that somebody says that triggers a light bulb in your head, and you're like, you know what? I never thought about that, and that's a really good idea, and I'm gonna start doing that from now on. But just watch all the YouTubers out there. There are so many of us that are making sobriety videos. Go watch those guys. Go through their catalogs and look at their videos, and they've got video titles. One of them might be a big red flag for you. You might go, oh my gosh, that's a great idea, I'm gonna watch that video. And something in that video might be something that you go, aha. We get those aha moments. I get them. I watch all the sober people on YouTube, and I get aha moments watching those guys. So, something that they'll say, and I never thought about that like that. So I highly suggest watching YouTube videos about sobriety, looking into AA. If you want to go to a meeting, they do help. There's a lot of people that swear by AA. I don't go, but I've been to a lot of them. And I have taken away stuff from them. And going online AA meetings are another thing as well. Maybe finding a sponsor. If you find yourself a sponsor, when you start to struggle, you can give them a call. They tell you, call me anytime. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you just can't sleep, and you're itching and jonesing to go to that gas station and go get a case of beer, you can call them and say, this is what's going through my head right now, and I don't want to do it. And they might be able to help talk you out of it. Most of the time when we start getting a craving, if you give it about 15 minutes or so, they go away. And all you have to do is just give it a little bit of time, and they eventually dissipate. And that's, one of the reasons for having a sponsor is somebody that you can call. And it could be somebody that you call a friend or a family member that you might be able to reach out to and give a call to, and they can help you through it. Sometimes we just need a little bit of a budge, somebody just to push us a little bit and help us. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Don't be ashamed or afraid to call somebody when you need help. It's one thing if you call and they don't answer the phone, that's one thing. But if you do reach out and they answer, well, then somebody's there on the other line to talk with you. Let people know. Let your close friends and family know what you're doing. That way they're not, they might think twice about inviting you over for whatever it is. If they're going to have a cookout at their house, and they know that they're probably going to be having, people over there drinking or something like that, they might think twice about inviting you. Or they might let you know, hey, I've got this party coming up on Saturday. I would invite you, but we're going to probably be drinking, and so don't take any offense to it, or whatever. Or when you let people know that you're not drinking, if you go to their house, they're not going to offer it to you. And if they do, they're probably not a good friend of yours anyway. If you let somebody know, I'm not drinking anymore, or I'm trying to quit, and every time you go around, they're like, come on, man, you want to just have a beer. Those people aren't your friends. If it's somebody that's continually trying to push you into drinking, stay away from that person. And I'm not saying they're a bad person. 99.9% of the time, most likely they're probably an active addiction as well. And the one thing is that misery loves company. We do not like to be the only ones intoxicated. We want other people to be drinking like us as well. I know for myself, when I was drinking like that, I was always pushing liquor on other people. I didn't want to be the only one sitting there drinking, on my 6th liquor drink at 10 o'clock in the morning when we're supposed to be doing something. I was like, come on, guys, you want to have a drink too. Let's have a good time today. And I talk these people into drinking with me, and I'm going to hang out with them for the whole day. And then I'm passed out at 2 o'clock, and they're like, now what do we do? I would just get up and go to my bedroom and go to sleep, especially if I had like people over here during the day. I'd start getting drunk, and the next thing you know, I just walk away and go lay down on my bed and just leave everybody hanging. I wonder what those people thought back then. Drinking a lot of water, especially right now, and taking vitamins. You need to, flush that stuff out of you. And, you need to be drinking a lot of water just so we don't get dehydrated. You're probably going to have diarrhea for a while. Your bowels are going to be all over the place. And if you're in the middle of having diarrhea and stuff like that, you need to stay hydrated so you don't end up dehydrated. And then you're going to have a whole another slew of problems. I know that when I first stopped drinking, I had diarrhea for quite a while. I'm not trying to sound gross. I'm just being honest. That was one of the ways that my body was letting me know that it was not happy that I quit. And, it's just one of those things. You need to keep drinking water while that's happening. Or if you're like throwing up and stuff like that, I don't hear that a lot from people that they're, that's more or less like, other addictions where you're like puking. I know it can happen, but you just need to stay hydrated in the process. Another thing too is eating nutritious foods. And, it's one of those things. Yeah. In the very beginning, if you want to help yourself to whatever it is, just to help get through those cravings, go for it. But after a few days, after those initial really heavy cravings and withdrawals start to go away, start to try to eat better. Start to try to eat a more nutritious diet. Stay really heavy on the protein, low carbohydrates. Don't eat a lot of sugar. Sugar's horrible for you and for your liver. It's horrible for all your organs. But keep your sugars low. Keep your proteins high. Drink lots of black coffee. Eat steamed vegetables. Eat raw organic vegetables, raw organic fruits. You just want to be eating as healthy as possible, as nutritiously dense food as possible. Make sure you're eating lots of fiber, and you're getting all your minerals and vitamins. You're just going to start to feel better when you eat better. And when we're in active addiction, especially with alcohol, we don't eat. We just don't. Because we want to have an empty stomach while we're drinking. And, maybe there's some of you out there that did eat while you drank, but I think for the majority of us, we don't. And when we stop drinking, our body is really lacking in vitamins and minerals, especially B vitamins. So we got to put those back. We got to replace them. And when we start to feel better physically and we start to feel better mentally, we're going to actually start to think, more on the lines of, I know what that alcohol was doing to me. Especially when we just start to feel good. You actually start to realize how much of a negative impact the alcohol really did have on your life. You start eating better, you start to exercise, you're going to bed at a decent time every night, you're waking up not feeling hungover, your productivity levels go through the roof. You start to see all this stuff and you're like, wow, like my life is improving, and it's going to make those cravings a lot easier to get through. And then last but not least, that is exercise. And I think I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the video, but whatever exercise is for you and whatever you can fit in, but get some exercise. We get those natural endorphins pumping. That's like, our natural feel-good chemicals in our body. And they are actually, our endorphins are like natural painkillers. So they can help us with our pain. You get out there and exercise, get your blood pumping, get those endorphins going. You're not going to hurt as bad if you're dealing with pain because you're going to get those natural painkillers in your body. You're just going to feel better. You're going to be more euphoric. Your mood's going to be better. You're going to wear yourself out. You're going to be able to sleep better at night. You're probably going to, most likely, 99% of the time, you're going to start losing weight when you stop drinking as well. So you're going to start losing weight. You're going to start looking better. Your face is not going to be so bloated anymore. It's going to start to thin out. You're going to start feeling better. There's just so many things that you're going to notice about your body and your life in general that are going to improve when you stop drinking. You're not going to have those dark circles underneath your eyes anymore. Your skin's going to start to clear up and start to look better. Your blood pressure is going to start to go down. You're not going to feel that blood thumping in your head every single day. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on about all the things that are going to improve for you when you finally do remove alcohol from your life. I mean, your life just changes and gets so much better. And in the beginning, it can be a little bit hard to adjust to. But I promise you, if you hang in there, stay strong, keep fighting, and, you know, just take it day by day, in a short matter of time, you're going to start to realize how much you've been missing out on all this time. And if you're like me, you're going to start to kick yourself in the butt and go, why did I wait so long? Why did I, you know, sit in this misery for so many years when I could have been living this life? Because it's real. And what's waiting for you on the other side is so great. And I can promise you that. It might be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's worth it. So just hang in there. And like I said, I've got a lot of other things I could talk about, but I just wanted to go ahead and get this video done for today. And I've already gone way further than I wanted to go anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for today so I can go ahead and get this video up. I hope this video helped you. I hope it helped anybody out there that's trying to quit. Or if you're sober right now, maybe just some reminders of reasons that you don't want to drink anymore, or something to help you when you're dealing with cravings right now. I hope this video helps anybody out there. And if you're anything like me, this is a daily struggle. I have to work on my sobriety every single day and stay on top of it. Because if I don't want to find out what's waiting for me on the other side. I just do not want to slip up. And I want to stay on top of my sobriety every single day because I do not want to lose what I've worked so hard for. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here for today. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And once again, I hope this video helped that gentleman that I was speaking to on the live yesterday. So please let me know if it did. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to talk with you. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Y'all have a great rest of your day.